Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
Lock them up. Why it's time to arrest James Comey, Robert Mueller, Peter Strzok and the other swamp creatures staging an attempted coup. An attempted political coup is taking place in America right now as sinister swamp creatures with names like James Comey and Peter Strzok are attempting to nullify the outcome of the presidential election and steal the country away from the will of the voters. These very same swamp creatures exonerated Hillary Clinton for her role in a series of serious national security violations while giving her a free pass on lying to the FBI and the entire country. Peter Strzok, for example, a rabid anti-Trump swampster, is now credited with changing the FBI's assessment of Hillary Clinton's offenses from grossly negligent to extremely careless, a monumental distinction in terms of legal liability. See source links below. Peter Strzok has been a member of the extremely corrupt Robert Mueller special counsel investigation team that's attempting to ensnare President Trump on anything they can find, or fabricate, as a pretext to demand his impeachment. That investigation has been illegal from the start, as the Department of Justice regulations require a crime to be named before a special counsel is appointed, yet no crime was ever named to justify the appointment of the special counsel in the first place. Instead, the Mueller investigation was initiated as a witch hunt to try to find some crimes or engineer them in the process of the investigation. The General Flynn guilty plea, for example, stems wholly from the FBI deceptively interviewing Flynn under false pretenses, then catching him in a misstatement when he didn't even realize he was being interviewed as part of a criminal trap. Yes, you can be charged with a felony for merely lying to the FBI in a casual conversation, even though the government can lie to you with impunity. The FBI has become a rogue criminal operation. Now, the FBI is engaged in a massive cover-up, blocking information on Peter Strzok to make sure it doesn't go public. The FBI blocked all information on its website about a top counterterrorism official who was kicked off of special counsel Robert Mueller's Russia investigation for sending politically biased text messages to an FBI lawyer, reports the Daily Caller. Peter Strzok was a venomous anti-Trump swamp creature, we now know, just like all the other members of the Robert Mueller special counsel. As the Daily Caller reports, it was revealed on Saturday that Strzok was removed from Mueller's team in August after the Department of Justice's Inspector General discovered that he exchanged anti-Trump and pro-Hillary Clinton text messages with his mistress, an FBI lawyer named Lisa Page who also worked on the Mueller team. Via Daily Caller. The revelation of Strzok's biased texts is significant because of his central role in both the Russia investigation and the Clinton email probe. As the FBI's number 2 counterterrorism official, Strzok helped start both of the investigations. He also conducted interviews with former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn in the Russia investigation and with Clinton and several of her top aides in the email inquiry. Fox News is now reporting that the FBI is facing a contempt resolution from Congress for conspiring to withhold details about Strzok that show him to be an anti-Trump, pro-Clinton swamp creature working to ensnare Trump at all costs. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, Republican California, had demanded the text messages between FBI counterintelligence agent Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, an FBI lawyer with whom Strzok was romantically involved, reports Fox News. House investigators have long regarded him as a key figure in the chain of events when the Bureau, in 2016, received the infamous anti-Trump dossier and launched a counterintelligence investigation into Russian meddling in the election that ultimately came to encompass FISA surveillance of a Trump campaign associate. Today, Robert Mueller leads the most corrupt, criminal and treasonous coup d'état in American history, warns the Gateway pundit. Today the FBI that Mueller ran is in shambles. No one with an ounce of common sense believes that the FBI exhibits integrity, and this is in large part because of the actions of Robert Mueller and his close allies who recently led the FBI. President Donald Trump ripped the double standard in how 2016 Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton was treated and how Michael Flynn, his former national security advisor, was treated, reports corruption.news. So General Flynn lies to the FBI and his life is destroyed, while crooked Hillary Clinton, on that now famous FBI holiday interrogation with no swearing in and no recording, lies many times, and nothing happens to her? Rigged system, or just a double standard? Trump tweeted. The FBI is out of control. Fox News' Tucker Carlson added to the warnings about the FBI's deep state corruption, saying in a tweet, "The point is clear, the FBI is out of control and not just in the @real Donald Trump investigation. An agency charged with enforcing the law clearly considers itself above the law. That's a threat to you, and every American, no matter who you voted for." Carlson recognizes that the Comey, Mueller, Clinton deep state system known as the FBI, that is fake Bureau of Investigation, is demonstrating exactly how secret police organizations often get started. This is how secret police start, when law enforcement agencies decide to do the bidding of politicians, rather than pursue impartial justice on behalf of the public. Let's nip this nightmare in the bud right now. The FBI is a corrupt organization, adds the Gateway pundit. There is so much corruption in the FBI that lawmakers are preparing contempt of Congress resolution against deep state operatives for refusing to release material related to their Trump probe to Congress. On November 30th, Judicial Watch released 29 pages of FBI documents related to the Loretta Lynch, Bill Clinton tarmac meeting during which it is widely believed Bill Clinton ordered Lynch to back off any prosecution of Hillary Clinton. The documents show that FBI officials were more concerned about leaks than the actual meeting itself, reports Judicial Watch. Via JW. The new FBI documents show FBI officials were concerned about a leak that Bill Clinton delayed his aircraft taking off in order to maneuver a meeting with the Attorney General. The resulting story in The Observer is seemingly confirmed and causes a flurry of emails about the source of the article. FBI officials write, "We need to find that guy," and that the Phoenix FBI office was contacted in an attempt to stem any further damage. Another FBI official, working on AG Lynch's security detail, suggests instituting non-disclosure agreements. The names of the email's authors are redacted. There are no documents showing concern about the meeting itself. The FBI originally informed Judicial Watch they could not locate any records related to the tarmac meeting. However, in a related FOIA lawsuit, the Justice Department located emails in which Justice Department officials communicated with the FBI and wrote that they had communicated with the FBI. As a result, by letter dated August 10, 2017, from the FBI stated, "Upon further review, we subsequently determined potentially responsive documents may exist. As a result, your FOIA request has been reopened." Just days after that secretive tarmac meeting, FBI Director James Comey exonerated Hillary Clinton from any criminal prosecution. These new documents confirm the urgent need to reopen the Clinton email scandal and criminally investigate the resulting Obama FBI/D.O.J. sham investigation, adds Judicial Watch. Yes, it's time to criminally investigate the FBI. We've been saying for months that the investigation into alleged collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia to steal the election from Hillary Clinton was nothing more than a politically motivated scam, writes J.D. Hayes for DeepState.News. We knew that the probe was fake when, after more than a year's worth of investigating by Obama's FBI and Justice Department, no evidence whatsoever had been found, nothing. Just months of allegations, innuendo and unsubstantiated charges. Continuing for the National Sentinel, Hayes adds, an angry Representative Devin Nunes, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, has threatened the FBI and Department of Justice with contempt over their refusal to explain why Special Counsel Robert Mueller demoted a senior FBI investigator now believed to be a political enemy of President Donald J. Trump. Robert Mueller was complicit in Hillary Clinton's approval of uranium sales to Russia-linked companies. The FBI, we now know, has been part of the cover-up from the very beginning. When Robert Mueller was heading up the FBI, he was complicit in covering up the sale of uranium strategic resources to the Russians. See the Peter Schweizer book Clinton Cash for full details. Florida Republican Representative Matt Gaetz introduced a resolution Friday that called for former FBI Director Robert Mueller to step down as special counsel for the Russia investigation due to the fact that he was directly involved with covering up Russia's significant and illegal involvement with American uranium companies, reports the Daily Sheeple. The man whose supposed job is to find out whether or not the Trump campaign colluded with Russia was actually the head of the FBI when they covered up the fact that the country was corrupting American uranium companies while also purposefully stopping a key witness from contacting Congress about said corruption. Mueller is a deep state operative, concludes the Daily Sheeple. Attorneys who worked for Mueller as head of the FBI during the Uranium One deal signed off on it despite the fact that the Bureau had uncovered massive evidence of criminality involving Russian and American figures, up to and including then-Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, reports Trump News. That article goes on to report. According to Hannity, Fox News legal contributor Greg Jarrett discovered both Deputy Attorney General Ron Rosenstein and Mueller's right-hand man, Andrew Weissman, former head of the fraud unit at Obama/Holder's Justice Department, signed the plea agreement of the Russian businessman embroiled in the Clinton Uranium One case. Weissman ran the Department of Justice's fraud section at the time Russian operatives were bribing Americans involved with the company, and while vast sums of money were flowing into the coffers of the Clinton Foundation and former President Bill Clinton's pockets. This was all going on when Robert Mueller ran the FBI and James Comey was rising in the ranks. Now, the Mueller, Comey, Strzok, McCabe criminal ring is running the attempted political coup against Trump. And they're all dirty. They're all political hacks connected to Hillary Clinton, the Russians and the Uranium One scandal. For Mueller to hire all of these people who made so many contributions to Hillary Clinton was a decision of such arrogance and indifference to appearances. You just can't have the optics of that and not have your work questioned. And, Peter, Strzok has just brought it to the fore, former independent counsel Joseph DeGenova told Breitbart News. Former FBI investigator Peter Strzok, who was pulled from special counsel Robert Mueller's team after it was revealed he exchanged text messages mocking President Trump, was reportedly behind the decision to change then FBI Director James Comey's description of Hillary Clinton's email use from grossly negligent to extremely careless, writes Adam Shaw for Breitbart. Also on Monday, the Sean Hannity radio show published an exclusive report by Circa's Sarah Carter on the Bureau's interviews of former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, who last week pled guilty to lying to the FBI during those interviews. According to Carter, Strzok was one of two agents who interviewed Flynn in January at the White House. FBI agent Peter Strzok was one of two FBI agents who interviewed Flynn, which took place on January 24, at the White House, reports Hannity.com. Strzok was removed from his role in the special counsel's office after it was discovered he had made disparaging comments about President Trump in text messages between him and his alleged lover FBI attorney Lisa Page, according to the New York Times and Washington Post, which first reported the stories. Strzok is also under investigation by the Department of Justice Inspector General for his role in Hillary Clinton's email server and the ongoing investigation into Russia's election meddling. On Saturday, the House Intelligence Committee's chairman Devin Nunes chided the Justice Department and the FBI for not disclosing why Strzok had been removed from the special counsel 3 months ago, according to a statement given by the chairman. In other words, under the influence of political hacks like Peter Strzok, the FBI has been running a political watch hunt to destroy President Trump while covering up the serious crimes of Hillary Clinton and Robert Mueller. How Hillary Clinton gets away with lying to the FBI and everybody else. Hillary Clinton is an accomplished, expert liar. She's so experienced at lying that she has mastered the art of lying while technically telling the truth. For example, when asked whether she used her illegal email server to receive and send classified information via unsecured email, her answer is carefully parsed, I never sent or received any information that was marked classified. Note the qualifier she uses, marked classified. As it turns out, most classified information isn't marked as classified. And no markings are required for material to be deemed classified. All sorts of information is qualified as classified with no markings whatsoever, and this is the kind of information she illegally sent and received on her private email server. Yet technically she isn't lying when she says she never forwarded information that was marked classified because it wasn't marked. But it was classified nonetheless. To date, there isn't a single journalist in the legacy media that has challenged Hillary Clinton on this point. And the FBI exonerated her from a long list of felony crimes with the outrageous excuse that they couldn't find intent on her part to break the law. Yet simultaneously, General Flynn is given no quarter for lack of intent when it comes to lying to the FBI. He's charged with the full force of the law. The FBI's enforcement of laws is directed solely at Trump administration officials while granting absolute immunity to Obama-era officials and Hillary Clinton herself. Former lawmaker Jason Chaffetz has confirmed that Hillary Clinton lied during her July 2, 2016 interview with the FBI, saying, "Clearly Hillary Clinton did lie under oath." When Roger Clemens supposedly lied under oath, the Department of Justice indicted him, but Hillary Clinton not so much. Conclusion: it's time to arrest Robert Mueller, James Comey, Hillary Clinton, Peter Strzok and the rest of the lawless gang trying to overthrow America. The deep state despises free elections, and if we the people elect a candidate they don't like, they will do everything in their power to attempt to overthrow the results of that election and install their own complicit deep state operative, that is Hillary Clinton. Today, the FBI is not just waging a coup against the duly elected Trump administration, it's waging a coup against the will of the people. To pull off that coup, the FBI and its deep state gang are fabricating everything from the so-called Trump dossier to fake news leaks that get written up as facts by the complicit Washington Post, a fake news rag that knowingly fabricates false sources in its attempts to destroy President Trump. If the Mueller, Comey, Clinton deep state gang manages to throw Trump out of office, they will have successfully overthrown our country and seized power through a totalitarian political coup. They will have also proven that elections are meaningless, nothing more than theater, because when the people elect a candidate the deep state doesn't like, the bureaucracy will find a way to nullify the election and install their own criminal in chief. That's why it is crucial that we the people call for a special investigation into the Robert Mueller investigators, including James Comey, Peter Strzok and all the other swamp creatures who are part of this staged theater of false justice. These are the people who need to be locked up behind bars, not well-meaning Americans like General Flynn. What's at stake here is the future of our nation and our individual freedoms. If we don't resist the deep state's nefarious attempt to nullify our democratic election outcomes, they will install a totalitarian regime with absolute power, running a secret police FBI-Stasi apparatus that criminalizes political enemies of the corrupt regime in power. The FBI, in other words, has become to the new KGB. The day is fast approaching when all Americans may be called to action to defend their nation against the corrupt deep state. Stay tuned to this website. A massive armed citizens march on Washington, D.C. to find and arrest the deep state swamp creatures is a very likely result if these anti-American tyrants manage to remove Trump from office. It's not hard to predict that civil war will quickly follow. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. This is why we must investigate and arrest the deep state swamp creatures right now, before this escalates to open bloodshed in the streets. We the people will not tolerate our country being stolen by corrupt, evil swamp creatures like Mueller, Comey, and Clinton. Lock them up and drain the swamp in the process.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.